All right, let's start it. All right. So, when to start outsourcing. Now, this might help you for most online businesses. I've done a couple different projects online, like YouTube content creation, Instagram content creation, like boosting Instagram stuff, getting partnership on YouTube, a lot of Twitch stuff, and e-commerce, and mostly marketing. Marketing is probably the core skill. So the context where I'll be talking about outsourcing is going to mainly apply to e-commerce stuff, but I guess you can kind of use it for most businesses. Now, if you think you need to start outsourcing stuff, chances are you need to start outsourcing stuff. Sorry, I had a seizure for a second. I haven't slept yet. And that's basically it. That's another video. Okay, bye. Anyway, so if you want a bit more details, if you just want to watch more videos, or just want more information, because we do live in a very addicted to information age, we can go ahead and talk a bit more about really when to know, like, for 100% that you need to start outsourcing, and a little bit more background on outsourcing. So it kind of depends on two things, not including if you think you need to outsource, you probably do. It's kind of implied. First one is stagnation. If your business is stagnating, your growth isn't as booming as it was the first couple months, and it's like starting to plateau a little bit, or you're just like kind of like eh, or you're just, a lot of things are going on, and you just are like, okay, maybe I'm not getting all my things done that need to be done, or any of that stuff. You kind of want to take a look at your structures and your systems that are in place in your business. Now, if you're just starting to get successful, you just had your first couple of successful campaigns going on, and you don't have too many employees, or if any, go start hiring some people for some things. And when you start getting into that process, you kind of start realizing, the different parts of a business. I'm trying to think of the book that I read that actually went over the details on how to do this. I can't remember for the life of me what it was, but I know the concept they got was from Henry Ford when he built up that industrial line thing, where he basically systemized the creation of cars, and he put it on a conveyor belt where one employee does one thing, the next employee does another thing, and then they're building out cars left and right. They did the same thing in McDonald's, and that's how they basically run things. And it is such a powerful lesson when you have your own business, because then you kind of realize there's so many parts to running a business, and all these moving parts require their own little mini ecosystems and their own set of checks and balances to support the overall ecosystem, which sustains Earth, or the brand, or I hope you're getting the metaphor, which kind of controls the business. And that's good, because then you get to realize just what you're doing, and just how far you've come. Congrats. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing. In fact, it's probably the hardest thing to do ever, because nobody's really keeping track of yourself other than yourself. And that's probably the hardest thing to do ever. So pat yourself on the back. Congrats for making it this far. And let's see if I can help you go further. So, when you're stagnating, take a look and see where you can optimize your systems. And maybe sometimes that means you can bring on an extra pair of hands, a coach, re-optimizing some old systems that you looked at, because you can't just systemize something and then not look at it again. Even if it's got a project manager, revisit that. Depending on how big your company is, you can do it every quarter, you can do it every month, you can even maybe do it every week. If you're what's the statistic? It's most 90%, 95% of businesses don't make it past the first year, and then after that, it's even out of those 10%, 5%, whatever that survives the first year, maybe 1% of that survives for 5 years. It's it takes a lot to run a business, so you would probably want to check it as much as you can, but not too much. So I know it's a bit of a paradox. So you want to find that happy medium. I'd recommend once a month, depending on how good your systems are already in place. If you're kind of out, everything's kind of automated, and you're having a little bit of stagnation, then take a look at it. You don't have to go crazy with it. Don't let it, don't obsess with it, because that does not help. Just maybe even take a vacation. Now, this is radical, I know, but this has got to be the best piece of advice I have ever heard, and this was way before I got into business. It was actually on an online forum on creating your ideal lifestyle. And this guy was, I forgot what he does. I think he was in like an investment bank or something. He was working crazy hours. And then he gave all that up to work from his laptop. And I think he became like an affiliate marketer. And he mentioned he had a mentor who was making like $1 million a week. And this was back like in 2012. Okay, this is 2018, like right now when I'm making this video. So you can imagine just how far those two guys have gone. Sadly, I've fell out of contact with the guy that told me about this. He said his mentor said the best time to take a vacation is when you are sick. Side note, 99% of illnesses and diseases are caused by stress on your immune system. So when you're sick, it usually means you're stressed out, and your immune system was not strong enough to fight off whatever the hell made you sick. So this actually supports the whole theory that you should take a vacation whenever you're sick. And I did it twice, and oh my god, do it. Whenever you're stressed out, whenever you're just like, stagnant, go do something. Like just get out of the country, like get out of the state. Go do something you haven't done before. Like go get a massage, do something, little expensive, like not like stupid, like go gamble for like, I don't know, like losing your house or whatever, but like go get a massage and like go to a fancy restaurant and treat yourself. Go get a steak, or if you're like a vegan person, go to like some smoothie place and get a smoothie or something, and just get out of it for a couple days and then like revisit the question, like what could you do better, and then you proceed from there. So second point being data. It kind of supports the first one on like stagnation, because data is kind of also a bit more implied. In this context, it's basically, like when you're outsourcing stuff, it's like how well do you truly know what you're outsourcing? Like, let's say you built up a system for like customer service like 6 months ago. Now, you're stagnating, and you're like, how the hell is like what's going on? Like, why are there more complaints from customers coming when there weren't 6 months ago? Like, what changed? So you go back and you revisit it, and then you realize it's 6 months later. I started this business in February, in the middle of winter, if it's winter, because it snows in Connecticut in February when it's like that. And right now it's summer, right? What's 6 months? I'm terrible at math, and I haven't like slept in like 2 days. So it's a different season. So the customers are getting stuff for the wrong season, or it's like, maybe it's their mood, maybe they're PMSing or something. Who knows? But that's what you do. You go in there, you figure it out. You look at your data, and then you optimize that way. That's the whole point of data. You track everything, and you figure out what's causing X to equal Y when X should equal Z. And if there's one thing that you should take away from this video, is keep things super simple. Now, if my dad was here, he'd be having a field day. But luckily, I don't think he's going to see this video ever. But he's been telling me ever since I was born that you need to pay attention to details. The point of that being that, and another thing that he told me was, whenever you learn something, or when you try to teach something, you have to speak in a manner that you can explain it to a 3-year-old child. That's what I mean by keep it simple. Even Einstein actually said it. If you can't explain something simply enough, you don't know it well enough. Now, this also kind of feeds back into the data thing, and that also feeds back into, what was the first thing? Stagnation, right. You're stagnating. Figure it out, it's simple stuff. It's like not anything complicated. It's like we suffer so much more in our like own minds than we ever do in reality. Like, let's take, for example, me making this video. I've been wanting to make this video for like 8 months now, and I haven't done it. I would always make it, and then I would always delete it because I'm like, oh, the lighting isn't right. Oh, like I can't figure out the angle. And now the lighting is worse than it was the last time I made it, because the last time I was making these videos, I was in Miami, and it's always sunny over there. Right now it's raining outside. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, when it's usually sunny, but it's raining and it's dark and it's gray outside. It's absolutely disgusting. Even though I love the rain, I miss my sunshine. But I'm over here making this video anyways. It took me maybe, what was it, like 20, 30 minutes? And then I didn't like the first one, so I'm making this again with a little bit more oomph into it. And I'm liking the vibe of this video so far, or liking the vibe of myself, so I know the video is going to be great. So I'm not going to go back and re-edit it. And it took me maybe, what, like 10, 15, 20 minutes to do, and maybe another 5 minutes to like upload to YouTube and be done with it. It's maybe an hour. And I've been procrastinating this for 8 months. 8 months, hour. So, you keep things super simple. And the way we optimize is, through mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You want to make more mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, you're not doing enough things. You're not trying enough new things. You're not doing enough. Last part, wrapping everything all up in a nice, pretty bow. The pretty bow on top is don't bother overthinking. I struggle with this problem so much. So much. It ruined my childhood. It ruined my high school experience other than my last year. Because that's when I was like, you know what? Enough thinking. My last year of high school, I joined the football team. Like, before that, I did, like, nothing. I was very antisocial and played video games all day long, specifically RuneScape. And it did teach me a lot of, like, very valuable lessons. Because I remember I was getting into, like, Warren Buffett around, I think 14 or something. And he said you got to figure, or maybe, was it Warren Buffett? Somebody that said you should figure out a way to monetize your hobbies. And that's when I really started learning things. When you can start optimizing your hobbies and you start figuring out ways to make money from like things you actually enjoy doing, that's when you crack the code of life. And that's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's just having a blast and just like slaying your goals left and right. It's a blast. It's struggle. Struggle is real when you procrastinate something for like years and months and days and hours and seconds when it takes you like 20 minutes to do. But then when you do it, you feel amazing, and then you're like, God damn, I gotta do more of that. And then you get addicted, and then you get obsessed, and then you just start making more videos, and you start testing more products, you start creating more images for your Instagram, and the likes starts going up, the subscriber counts start going up, you start getting excited, and then you're happy again. And it's awesome like that. So, wrap it up. Keep things super simple. Do more. Think less. And if you have questions on like whatever I talked about, please let me know in the comments. I will answer each and every single one of them. And also we'll use that data to kind of, optimize my future videos, because that's how I do things. And also if you're like interested in like learning more about like businesses and stuff, and you like the energy that I seem to be putting out, feel free to subscribe. And if you really liked it, put on that little notification bell so you can, stay up to date and just get notified whenever I upload videos. And that is it. And I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye!